Please make sure you remind me for. All right, then we have written communication. When we exchange our ideas or when we transfer our information or message via written form, that is called written communication. Written form means when we are writing something using and symbols and signs. Symbol and signs in terms we call words and letters, right? When we communicate using a language in a written form, that is called written communication. So the writing skills are involved in written communication, right? So right now, when I'm teaching you this written communication, and right where you have used this type of communication, right, as many as you can, I am, even though speaking using verbal communication, at the same time you are looking at the slide and there is something written which you can read. I'm also using written communication. When I text to my friend for something, I use written communication. When I have to ask my servant to bring something, I have to write that please bring, this is the list. So that is also written communication, right? When I go to my tailor and then I have to tell him that this is the design and I need, right? I use written communication. Doctor's prescription is written communication, right? All your documents are written communication. So there are a number of scenarios and moments in day-to-day life where we use written communication. I want everyone to write as many as you can, right? That where do you actually use written communication? Since your childhood, where have you used written communication? Please write it down. Very good. Writing the main points that are mentioned on slides. That's wonderful. WhatsApp, fine. Email, that's great. I want everyone to write where do you use written communication? Messenger, that's great. Report, fine. Application, right. Text message, okay. Applications to government, fine. Chatting while sitting in ongoing class, right. FIP teachers fine in physical class during lecture to talk to my friend. That's a very old method to talk to friends when teacher is teaching. Even when I was a student, I used to do this actually on BSEN. Ah, that's great. I can understand what you have written on BSEN. That's fine. All right. So looking upon at whatever has happened in our life, we could see that where you have used written communication. So verbal is where we speak, non-verbal is where we use gestures, postures, and face expressions. Written is where we are using writing skills. I hope the difference between the three is clear. Then we have visualization. We communicate through visualizations. When I say visualization, we mean pictorial form. That pictorial form can be pictures, that can be charts, they can be pie charts, this can be graph, right? They can be lines, they can be any drawing. All the paintings in the world, they come into the category of visualization, right? So we might not regularly use these visualizations, but whatever pictures we have in our cell phone, they are visualizations, right? And whatever graph we use, whatever charts we use, these are all visualizations. Even though, see, when we watch television, it is more like a visualization. Right now, if I'm teaching you, if I'm using my verbal communication, written communication, you are also sorry, you're also looking at the pictures, slides, colors, all those charts, right? And everything. You're also visualizing it. So this is a form of communication too. Visualization would definitely increase a part of writing because when you are making a chart or when you are making a graph, you may explain it with writing form. But when you are making a picture or when it is any painting, right? When it is any 3D craft, that may not come with writing more. So visualization means when you are visualizing your thoughts into something that is tangible. So you are showing your thoughts, whatever you are thinking, through a graph, through picture, or through chart. That is called visualization. This is right where you have used this type of communication, right, as many as you can. So I use visualization through pictures, right? And I love to paint, so I use visualizations when I am painting. Even though while when I was writing my thesis, I use graphs, I use charts, I use pictures. So all these things are visualizations. Even though those smileys, right, and those stickers which we are using in WhatsApp or social media, that is also part of visualizations, right? So I want you to write all those scenarios of your life where you use visualizations. Or comic things, jokes included. Yes, everything that is in pictorial form that comes in visualization. Bring stuff by my small brother from grocery store, letters, reports, instructions, guidance, yes. Remember, double one, I think that your message is late. Video calls, yes, video call is a form of visualization. Drawing is a visualization, wonderful for visualization of data. Signboards. Yes, signboard is a form of visualization. Cricket discograph is a visualization. In presentation, wonderful. We have okay, PPA result. To explain something more clearly means an emoji. Fine. So the difference between the four is clear, right? When I ask you to just get examples from your daily life, I don't mean to just have a lot of examples, but to have a clear distinction between the four, that there are four different types of communication: verbal, non-verbal, written, and visualization. I hope these four are clear. If they are not, please let me know. If you have any question, please write it down. If these four are clear, please write clear in chat section. Your face expressions do not come in visualization, they are a part of nonverbal communication. All right. So then we have a process of communication, right? So ultimate goal of communication is to make the one you're talking to understand what you want him or her to understand, right? If my motto to talk to someone is that I want to drink water and I want him or her to bring me a glass of water, see, asking him, can you please bring me H2O in any of a container, right? If I ask someone to bring me H2O in any of a container, it would be entirely different than asking him directly, can you please bring me a glass of water? So when we are talking about process of communication, right? So the process helps us to get effective communication to have our desired results. Can you please turn your mic off? Auntie, can you please ask your son to turn his mic off? Thank you. All right. So everything works in a process, so there's communication, right? So what do you think? What would be the process of communication? I mean, how the communication would work? And how does process of communication works? How do we make communication effective? See, if I want to ask someone that please bring me a glass of water, that is it possible that I'm not talking to anyone? There are 10 people in my room and I'm just saying, can you please bring me a glass of water? And I'm not concerned to anyone. Or even if there isn't any person in my room and I'm still asking, can you please bring me a glass of water? Would it happen? Or there are 10 people in my room and I'm not asking anyone to bring me a glass of water verbally, but I'm asking everyone with my eyes that making some gestures with my face expressions to bring a glass of water. Would it be possible? By making someone subjectively verifying eye contact, right? Direct and clear. Fine. That's a nice try from your side. That's fine. That when we talk about process of communication, there are multiple things which we need to take in mind. The first one is sender. Definitely, sender doesn't mean that someone who's sending something, kind of gift a word. Here, sender means initiator, the one who initiates the communication. So the process of communication is initiated or started through sender. Sender is the one who initiates the communication and sends his own message to someone else. That the other end could be the person, that other end could be animal, could be non-living thing, or could be a person, him or herself, right? Sender doesn't mean that it entirely needs to be a human, right? On the other end, it could be anything, even though the receiving end could be you. You are the initiator and you are the receiver. When you talk to yourself, you initiate process of communication. You are the sender, and definitely when you're talking to yourself, you become the receiver. So the sender is the one who initiates communication process, and sender may initiate for any purpose, right? He may want someone to do work, or he may want to apologize, he may want to thanks, or he may want to talk for no reason. And there could be a lot of purposes for communication. So the sender is the one, or sender is the and which initiates the communication, and sender it's even not entirely necessarily that the sender is a person. Sender could be TV, right? Sender could be radio. Sender could be another person on the phone call, or sender could be a voice message, right? So sender is something or some entity that initiates message. So when you are writing by making someone subject will be better, right? So this means that for the communication, we need two ends, right? When we are talking about the process of communication, we are mainly talking about two-way communication that we are sending message to someone and then we are receiving back a feedback. After sender, there are two terms which we need to understand that are encoding and decoding, right? What happens that when we want to talk about something, for example, as I'm giving example of a glass of water. So in my mind, there is a glass of water, right? That is my deep structure in my mind. Then I have to transform that deep structure into surface structure. And how would I transform deep structure into surface structure? The glass of water or my thirst that is in my mind, I will change it into any form of the communication, be it spoken, verbal, non-verbal, or visualization, right? I will change my thought into a form of language, right? That is called encoding. So when I would talk to someone, for example, I want a glass of water, I would be verbally asking someone, can you please bring me a glass of water? So my thirst and glass of water that was in my mind, what I have did, I have changed it into a surface structure that is verbal communication. So I changed my thought into a language form, into a words form. But when the listener would listen it, what he would do, he would listen to those words and then he will process those words into his or her mind, and that would be decoding, right? Definitely, when I'll be speaking in some language, that would be having language, sentence structure, underlying meaning. So those words, when they would be heard by the receiver and he would understand what I have talked to him or her, that is called decoding. So changing your thoughts into language and selecting what kind of medium of communication you are going to choose. Either if you want your sister to bring you a glass of water, she's in another room, you may text her, right? Or you may send her a water picture and then sending her any emoji saying, please can you. So there could be different ways of encoding a message, and whatever a sender always encodes a message. Encoding means changing your thought into language, giving your thought a medium to communicate. And then decoding means when you have a language, you are transferring that language into a thought again. So I hope encoding and decoding, perhaps these are the two new terms for you guys. Please confirm me if these two terms are clear. If they are not, please ask me the question. Please let me know if encoding and the term decoding is clear. Before we understand what is the process of communication, these are the terms which we need to understand. So I'm just explaining them with day-to-day examples so that you can get a clear picture of it. Can you please confirm me if decoding and encoding is clear to everyone? I don't know if someone is messaging out of this channel. Please kindly repeat the difference in a single line. If the screen is not visible, what the hell are you guys doing? You should have asked me, guys. Please inform me at the instance that the screen is not visible or something is wrong. Please let me. Let me share the screen. So since when the screen is not visible? Now stop complaining, everyone, that screen is not visible. I am. Guys, wait, I've been logged off from my laptop. I need to log in and then share a screen. Please be with me. Okay, meanwhile, I am logging in from the laptop. Let me explain the difference between encoding and decoding. See, I have got a thought in my mind that I need to drink water, right? I need to drink water is in my mind and I haven't spoken it to anyone yet. So I will change my thought into language so that I can ask someone to bring me a glass of water. I will choose verbal communication in order to speak my thought to someone else so that they can bring me a glass of water. The process of changing thought into language is called encoding. So when I have spoken to someone, they would listen my words and then they will understand. So listening to those words and then understanding it, that is called decoding. I mean, somebody is saying, "You can you please bring me a glass of water?" So please bring me a glass of water is understood into your mind that this person needs water. Is the difference clear now? Is the difference clear now? And please confirm me if you can watch the screen. Can you please confirm if the screen is visible? Not visible. Amit. Is it visible now? Okay. Okay, so the term sender is clear, encoding and decoding is clear. Then we have channel. Channel is also known as medium of communication, right? For example, I have to talk to my friend, right? This is a thought in my mind that I have to talk to my friend and I'm a sender. So what I would do, I would first encode my message, right? If I have encoded my message, right, I am thinking that I am going to text my friend. So my thought is that I have to tell her that I have got good marks. So I have got good marks is in my mind, and then I have to encode it. How would I be encoding it? I have thought to encode it in written communication, right? Then I need to choose a channel. Okay, if I am choosing that I will be transforming my into written communication, what could be my medium through which I will exchange my message? So the medium could be text message, could be via mobile phone, right? It could be via WhatsApp, it could be via Messenger. So WhatsApp, Messenger, later, fax, this is my channel through which my message will travel to the receiver or to the one I want to read. For example, let's take the same example. I want a glass of water, right? And I have decided that I will change my thought into language. I will encode, and I have selected verbal communication as my encoding. Right now, if I have to ask my sister or brother to bring me a glass of water, what could be the channel? Channel could be face to face. Maybe my brother or sister is sitting in front of me and I can ask them. So the channel could be face to face conversation. How am I transferring the message is called channel, right? For example, if there is a doctor, right, and he wants to communicate X-ray results with the patient. So how would he communicate? He would be selecting written communication and then he would write a report, right? So report would be his channel or medium of communication through which he would make his thoughts or encoding travel to the receiver. The difference between encoding and channel is encoding means what kind or what type of communication are you selecting, how you are going to transform your thoughts, and then channel is how you are going to make them travel. If you have chosen written communication, are you going to write a letter? Are you going to write application? Are you going to write email? So all these things are channel. The written communication is your encoding. Is the difference between encoding and channel clear? Is the difference between encoding and channel clear? All right. Okay. So with the channel comes the barrier, right? We would be doing barrier into depth into next slides, but just to understand what is a barrier. When I am teaching you right now, right, I have a thought into my mind that I have to teach you, and I am selecting encoding method that is verbal communication along with this visual and written communication. So what is my channel? This MS Teams is my channel. So I have decided that I will be speaking to you guys through MS Teams. So when we select channel, right, every channel has got its specific barriers. If I have selected MS Teams to teach you, so the barriers are internet, right, and the barrier is glitches in MS Teams. Barriers are your understanding of MS Teams. For example, if I haven't selected MS Teams as my channel and I have selected face-to-face communication, right, in physical classes, right? So what could be my channel in physical class? In physical class, my channel is face-to-face communication. Then I would be having different barriers in face-to-face communication. I might be having psychological barriers. I might be having physical barriers. The what noise of the fan could be a barrier. Right now, if I'm teaching you, the noise of my family members could be a barrier. Your interrupting phones are barrier. A phone call could be a barrier, right? Even though unmuting your call is a barrier. So every channel comes with specific barriers, and it is not possible to have communication without barriers. So for effective communication, one needs to minimize barriers as much as possible. See, when I'm teaching you, I'm in a place where my rest of the family members are not present, right? And I'm trying my level best to minimize the barriers. And when we minimize barriers, most of the times we do it uh, intentionally, but most of the time we do it unintentionally in order to have maximum understanding. Most of the times, what happens that we are in a family and we are 10 to 8 people sitting in one room. But when there is a phone call or the phone rings, what we do unintentionally, we just pick the phone and go out of the room because we need to minimize the barrier. So every channel has got a specific barrier. For example, if I want to send text to my friend, you know, that would also be having different barrier, network issues, right? Dictionary issues, or network issues at my friend's place. Maybe he or she cannot understand what I have written, or maybe I have used some bombastic vocabulary that he or she can't understand at the instant. So every channel has got specific barriers, and there isn't any communication without any barrier. Whatever communication happens, they are always with certain barriers. Yes, but the thing is, our mind unintentionally or subconsciously minimize the barriers at its best. So I hope the barrier is clear because and the concept that every channel would be having a specific and particular barriers is clear to everyone. Then definitely we have a receiver. When I'm talking about two-way communication, that I'm talking to you and you're talking to me, so that could be a receiver. Here you are the receiver and I'm the sender. I am having, my thoughts into my words, that is verbal communication. I'm using channel that is MS Teams and the barrier or internet glitches, a screen is not visible, unmuting calls, phone calls, right? And you or the receiver. So for process, when we say the process means something that is ongoing. I am talking to you. You guys are, responding to me where you're text. So this is where I am speaking to you and you're confirming yes, we're listening, things like that, and things are working. So can you please turn your mic off? So then there is a feedback. Every time when I ask you that, are things clear, right? And are you understanding what I am speaking? My ultimate goal of speaking is to make you understand, right? So the feedback is clear. Yes, ma'am, we understand it. For example, if right, this is just example. Yes, you are providing me feedback via chat section, right? But let's see, let's take the same example. If I ask someone to bring me a glass of water, right? They receive the message, they decode it that yes, the person is asking me. When that person brings me a glass of water, that is the feedback. This is what actually I wanted. I initiate the communication because I wanted a glass of water. When I get the glass of water, this means that my communication goal is achieved, right? The feedback is that he or she would say, definitely, I'm going to bring you, or the person might refuse that, no, I'm not going to bring you, right? So, whatever receiver says, that is the feedback. On the behalf of feedback, then you would again initiate your communication, right? In the same way, sender and receiver exchange their roles. When receiver sends back feedback, receiver becomes sender, right? And the sender becomes receiver. In this way, this process goes on. I'm not concerned right now with the process. I want everyone to let me know if every term, sender, encoding, decoding, channel, barrier, receiver, feedback is clear to everyone. If things are clear, please let me know. If you have any question regarding these terms, please ask me. It is not possible. See, when you are saying that encoding exists, just definitely means things would be decoded. You are initiating a message, right? So in a two-way communication. See, this is the process of two-way. When I say process, process means two-way communication, that there would be a receiver. If there is a receiver, receiver will definitely decode. After this slide, we would understand how the process works. Then you would be having a clear picture of each and everything. So I hope everybody is clear with all these terms. Now let's understand that how communication process works, right? So first of all, we have a sender, right? Sender wants to send a message. So sender will encode the message, right? And then he will select appropriate channel. There is a two-way communication, right? Then with the channel, there comes the barrier. When sender will encode the message and will send message you via using any channel, the recipient will receive it and recipient will decode the message and that will understand. Then recipient means the receiver will provide the feedback. Then he or she will provide the feedback. He may encode the message in the different way. Maybe the sender has encoded message in verbal communication and the recipient and encoding message in non-verbal communication. If for example, if the sender asks the receiver, do you know, and the receiver uses, the gesture that with the head moving from right to left, that no. So maybe the receiver uses an other form of communication to encode, then he would also use channel and the barrier appropriately, and the sender will then again receive the message from the receiver in the form of the feedback, and then he or she will decode it. Then again, if it is important to continue the communication, then sender again will encode the message, and where channel he would send to the receiver. In this way, the communication process goes on. I want you to look at this slide for 30 seconds and understand how this process works. And even though when you are just reading the slide, understand that when you talk to your friend, does this happen or not? Or this process works in this way or not? Let me know once you are done with understanding this communication process slide. If you're stuck anywhere, please ask me. Please understand the process of communication through this slide and please let me know that if you have understood each and everything very clearly, and please connect it with any of your real life situation and see that really your process of communication works in this way or not. Yes, decoding is the understanding of the receiver. चलें जी मैं आपको उर्दू में समझाती हूँ। जब मैसेज मिला आपको, ठीक है, तो डेफिनेटली अगर आपको किसी भी लैंग्वेज में मैसेज मिलता है तो वो सिर्फ अल्फाज होते हैं। उन अल्फाज को समझना कि अगला बंदा क्या चाहता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड डिकोडिंग। आपने क्या किया, उन अल्फाज को, उस लैंग्वेज को अपने जब जहन में आप लेकर आते हैं, आपका माइंड जब उसको प्रोसेस करके समझता है कि अच्छा फला बंदा ये चीज कह रहा है, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड डिकोडिंग। जब लैंग्वेज को आपका माइंड अपने अंदर समझता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड डिकोडिंग, कि आपने उसके अल्फाजों को डिकोड किया है। Everything, like we understand that language is also in a form of codes, right? So when we understand the codes spoken by other person, that is called decoding. I hope roll number 52 is this is clear now. Okay, so barriers of communication, we would be doing it right. I want everyone to draw this chart. I want everyone to draw this chart. You have read it well. Now please draw this chart onto your notebooks, take a picture and send please. You got 5 minutes. Draw this chart, please. Take a picture and send. Draw the chart for the process of communication onto your notebook. Take a picture and send. You got 5 minutes to do it. Meanwhile, I'm downloading your attendance. Right. Thank you. Rule number 40. 40. That's great. Sender, intro, down, barrier, decode. Fine. All those who won't be sending the picture of their diagram, they would be marked absent. All those who won't send the diagram are marked absent today. All right, guys. I hope things are a bit clear today. Please let me know how was today's class. Please let me know how was today's class. I hope you have learned something new today. And it was all about today. As it always goes fast. Fine. I hope you have learned something good and new today. And then I don't want just you to learn. I just want you to realize this subject that how this subject is deeply connected with your day-to-day life. And still we don't realize all these things. I wanted everyone to change their profile picture and they should have a profile picture where the face is visible. Mohammed Faisal, right? Have a profile picture where I can see your face. Roll number 36, roll number 40, roll number 53, and the rest of the roll numbers whose picture is not visible. Roll number 01 and 02, the cartoon version and the baby version. Please change your profile picture, else from the next class you won't be allowed to be in the classroom. So please have a good profile picture. You take a lot of pictures on the daily basis, and this is the time to show your pictures. So guys, just show and then have a good display picture where I can see your face and recognize. So from the next week, as this was just week, we were just initiating the class. From the next, I have changed, but I can see it. It's still tone. Which that you teach us logic and critical thinking. Who taught you logic and the critical thinking? Okay, so good to know the technicalities of day-to-day communication. But it's still, you guys have changed, but I still can see, right? So maybe it would take time. Yes, good to know the technicalities because day to day, life is just we take for granted and we never understand that how all these things work. So the process of communication and the types of communication, each and everything is very deeply rooted into a day to day life, and it's like that they are the core part of us, and then we take it for granted, and then we don't understand how things work. And most of the times we know that there is a miscommunication, but we don't realize what are the basic elements behind this miscommunication. So this subject actually let us know that what is actually communication and then how miscommunication happens, and when we are a professional or we are into a career, so what is that we need to adopt and what is that we need not to adopt. So this subject gonna help you in a lot of ways, and even if you work onto yourself getting a lot of help from this subject, you're gonna help you that person in your please turn your mic off. So see you next week. Till then, if you have any question and query, you can send your messages on Messenger 24/7 anytime, right? So till then, take very good care of yourself. See you next week. Bye bye for now.